painting is inspired by the painting The Starry Night by the very famous artist Vincent Van Gogh. Notice how he used lots and lots of short dashed lines all around his stars. We'll be adding the same thing to our painting later on in the video. So this is my example so you can see the whole picture. And we're going to be using a sheet of 12 by 12 inch square paper that's 80-pound drawing paper. And the first thing you want to do is draw with a light touch a large C like that. And then opposite that C, you're going to draw a backwards C, again with a light touch, just in case you need to erase. And then draw the line down here so they connect. And then up here, you're going to draw a curved line connecting those two C's together at the top. Now we're going to add the stem. So right up here, you can add your stem going straight up and down. You can add your stem going to the right like I did. You can add your stem going to the left. That's totally up to you. I'm going to draw mine going to the right. So a little bit further out, you're going to draw a curved line like that. And then we're going to add 3 bumps at the top. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to draw a curved line going back down into the pumpkin, and it gets a little bit wider at the bottom. Now we're going to add 2 curved lines on the inside of our stem to show the texture of the stem. Remember, texture in art means how something feels, or how something looks like it feels. So we're creating the illusion that this is bumpy by adding those lines. All right, the next step, we're going to add a line straight down the middle. Again, draw with a light touch. I'm pressing harder so you can see it in the video better. And then over here to the left of that line, we're going to draw a curved line, almost like we did when we did our C for the first part. And then we're going to add another curved line right here, again showing that the pumpkin is bumpy and has texture. It's a rounded object. And then over here to the right, we're going to draw the backwards C again. And then another backwards C. And there's the basic pumpkin shape. But now we need to add a face if you'd like. If you don't want to add a face to your pumpkin, that's totally okay. So I'm going to start with my eyes. Right about here, I'm going to make a circle, a big circle, but I'm going to erase part of that circle for the eye later. So don't press too hard. And then right here, I'm going to draw a curved line to show that the pumpkin is looking to the right. Then let's erase that part of the line, because later on we're going to use black crayon to outline, and we don't want to trace over this by accident. And then let's erase this part that goes in the eye too. We are going to color the eye in black with crayons, so we won't really see the line anyways. All right, now I'm just going to darken it a little bit so you can see it better on the screen. Now let's make one just like it over here. So I'm again drawing a very light circle to start, right about here. And a tip on drawing light is if you hold your pencil actually further away from the tip, near the eraser, it forces you to draw with a lighter touch. So try that when you draw your eyes. Then I'm going to make a curved line right here. And then let's erase this part inside the eye. As well as this part. Now let's erase this line that's in the eye. And darken our eye. Just trace over it. Now let's add the mouth. And again, if you don't want to add a face to your pumpkin, that's completely fine. I'm going to add a little mouth that looks like this. So to start, I'm doing it down here, and I'm going to draw a curved line, a short curved line, like that. I'm going to darken it so you guys can see at home or at school. Then I'm going to draw another curved line. Like so. And then we need to add the teeth. So we're going to add a little square on the top and bottom. Give him a funny little face. And I'm going to darken it. And then erase the line that's inside the mouth. And erase these lines that are above the teeth. And below the teeth. All right, there's our cute little pumpkin face. Now we're going to add some grass. And if you look here on my picture, the grass is overlapping the pumpkin. So along the bottom just a little bit. Remember, overlapping means when things are covering up something else a little bit. So we're going to draw some zigzag lines, some tall, some short. Some can be bent a little bit or curved. And we're going to do that all the way across our paper. So starting down here, near the bottom of my pumpkin, at the very edge, we're going to draw some zigzag lines. Notice it's not below the pumpkin. I'm drawing right over the bottom of my pumpkin. And you're going to go right across. Some can be tall, some can be shorter, some can be curved, all the way across our page. Okay, so now that the grass is on the pumpkin, we need to hide the pumpkin because the pumpkin is nestled inside the grass that we just drew down here. So erase all the pumpkin lines that are within the grass right here. And we'll add paint so it will cover up our pencil lines if you can still see yours. But try to get rid of most of it. Press really hard as you erase. And that's all I need to erase. Now we're going to add a crescent moon up in the corner. But if you want to add a full moon, that's fine, just a full circle, that's totally fine. Or you can put your moon over here or over there, that's up to you. So I'm going to add my moon over here again, and I'm drawing another backwards C shape, pressing really lightly in case you need to erase. I'm pressing harder so you can see my lines better. And then we're going to add another line curving that gets a little bit wider as it goes out, right here. And then as you get closer to the end, you're going to bring it in like so. All right, so the next step is we're going to use a black crayon and we're going to trace over all of our lines. And tracing just simply means when you're going on top of your lines that you already did. So the important thing is you want to press really, really hard as you trace. And I'll explain a little bit more on that later. So pressing super hard, we're just going right over the lines we already did. Make a nice, thick, dark black line, pressing really hard. Now you'll notice there's little black bits of crayon that might get on your paper from drawing. So just take your paper and put it over a trash can and shake it over the trash can so they fall off. You can blow them off too. All right, so the next step is we're going to add black crayon again, but we're filling in the eyes and mouth if you added one. So fill in nice and completely, leave no white spaces, and press really, really hard. Okay, so now we're going to shake our paper again over a trash can, just in case you have little bits of crayon all over your paper like I do. If you still have teeny bits of black chunks on your paper after shaking it off, don't worry about it. I still have some of my paper here and there too. Okay, so the next step is we're going to add stars in the sky. And we're going to draw them going all the way down to the grass, because that part of our picture is sky too. So with a yellow crayon, we're going to draw circles and then color in the circles completely in the sky, leaving no white spaces in the circle. And you need to press really, really hard as you color in. And we're going to do this all throughout the whole sky. It's really, really important to press hard as you're coloring in, because we're going to be painting with watercolors next, right over the stars with black watercolor paint, and we don't want the crayon to get covered up at all by the paint. I'll show you what happens if you don't press down hard enough on a separate paper right now. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second just to show you. All right, so I'm just going to do some circles like I was doing. Draw circles, fill them in, pressing super duper hard, leaving no white spaces with your crayon. Make them kind of large. And then over here, I'll show you what happens if you only do like a little squiggle and you don't fill it in, or you don't press down hard enough. Or you just do like a quick squiggly circle, but not filling it in. So So in our next step, we're going to be painting over the stars. So I did the stars over here, filling them in really, really good, pressed down really, really hard, filled them in completely. And with black paint, in our next step, we're going to just paint right over them. Look at that. Isn't that so cool? So this is a technique called crayon wax resist. The crayon has wax in it, and wax and water don't mix. The paint just sort of glides right over the crayon, and the wax in the crayon repels the watercolor paint and doesn't cover it up. It's like magic, isn't it? But watch what happens over here. If I go ahead and use the same method, they do show up, but not as well, and you can see the lines, the circles that I barely filled in. It's more of just like a quick scribble. They're not filled in completely, so you don't see the full circle as yellow. So it's important to make sure, and this one you can barely see. So it's important to make sure you fill them in completely so they're a nice circle filled in with yellow. So with your yellow crayon, just go into the sky and add a ton of circles and fill them in really, really good, pressing really, really hard. So first, let's paint the sky black with watercolor, and we're going to be very careful not to get any black in our moon or pumpkin or the grass. So go slow when you get to those areas. It's kind of cool too because the crayon acts like a barrier, so it helps you not get any in the moon or the pumpkin. Now let's paint the pumpkin, but make sure you clean your brush really, really good in the water before changing colors. You don't want to mix colors in the paint tray. Okay, for the next step, we are going to add lots and lots of lines, short lines in the grass with a dark green crayon. Make sure you don't use the light green. Light green won't show up too well against the green paint. We're going to use the dark green. So let's do that next. Lots of short lines, pressing really hard, giving the grass some texture. Oop, your crayon might break, but you can still use it. That's because I'm pressing so hard. And now with the red-orange crayon, we're going to add some short dashed lines in the pumpkin to give it even more texture. So pressing really hard, starting near the top, I'm just going to draw some short dashed lines. Remember, a dashed line is just a broken line, and some of them will be curved because we're following the curve of our pumpkin. Now when you get to the wider sections, like in here, we're going to do a wider dashed line, so it's going to be a little bit thicker. So looking back at Vincent Van Gogh's The Starry Night, as you can see here, there's lots and lots of little dashed lines surrounding every star, making it look like they're twinkling in the night sky. So we're going to add that next to our painting with a white crayon. Okay, so the last step is we're going to use a white crayon to add dashed lines all around every single star. And we need to press really hard, and we're going to make them short curving dashed lines surrounding each of the circles. We're not only going to just do one row, we're going to do 2 rows. So 2 rows of curving dashed white lines like this, pressing really hard. I'm going to do that for all the stars. And there you have it, Pumpkin Starry Night inspired by Vincent Van Gogh. I hope you had fun drawing your pumpkin. Thanks for watching.